Ooh, what up, everybody? I'm live. Now, let me go ahead and send this to all of my peoples. If you are watching, it is Brittany Parker, and it is the last episode of my show, my little podcast called Chronically Real. Dusty, I love you. I got something to tell you. Like, DM me, like, right now, and I'll tell you. So basically, I'm gonna let my sister in as soon as I give you guys a little update. So I am kind of staying in the city right now with my father for the time being. A lot of things have gone on since then, but you know, what up, JT? I'm gonna tell y'all, and this goes all according to lupus and how it affects your body and how it takes over, and I love you, and all of that stuff. Basically, the last, I think, week or 2 weeks of moving out of my grandmother's house and making the transition and walking away and knowing that this is it. I stressed to the point of anxiety, to the point where I was at emergency 2 days in a row. And to the point where I broke out in hives. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I told you guys about it last week, but I broke out in hives, my whole arm. It was ridiculous. It was actually gross. It's finally healing up, but it's lupus. The lower your immune system is, the more susceptible you are to like everything. So I went through that. I had to get on not antidepressants, but anxiety meds just to get over this. More prednisone. Just, you know, they had to heighten certain medications for me because I was going through so many levels of stress. And when I tell you I cannot afford stress, and anybody with lupus cannot afford stress, it's real, because I was either going to go into shock of some sort, break out in hives, or have another heart attack. And I'm not about that life no more. I don't want to go through that again. So gracefully enough and prayerfully enough, I made it safely out of that situation, out of, you know, that house, and closing that chapter. It was very emotional, but I did it. So yeah, so today, you guys, this is a very special episode to me, I'm telling y'all, because I have someone so special, and I'm probably the biggest pest to her because I'm her little sister. But today I'm going to be interviewing Bro. That's my birthday brother right there. We have the same birthday. What up, Josh? Today I'm going to interview my sister because she has lupus, and she had lupus before me. She got lupus when she was like 16, but I'm not going to say much. I want to bring her in and let you guys meet her. Oh, I'm so excited. And yeah, so let me bring my sister in, and we're going to talk about her lupus journey and our lupus journey and all of that good stuff. Let's see if this works. Okay. And in the meantime, while we waiting on her, I got this book, y'all. It's the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Healing Remedies, and it has everything from herbs to what lemons do and limes do, what garlic is used for healing, just every natural thing that you can use for healing. I got this like in 2017.
Oh Lord,
Yay!
sorry.
There's my sister, you guys. Okay, I gotta turn this fan off because I could barely hear, and I was hot a little bit. Hold on. Okay, so this is my big sister, Tiffany, and I'm so excited, sis. Thank you so much for being my last interview. Like I said, I had to save the best for last because a lot of people don't know that, you know, you have lupus, or that my sister has lupus, pretty much. Like, oh, you have lupus. I'm like, yeah, but I have a sister who has lupus. Every time I tell them that, they're like, huh? So I really wanted to share your story and give your testimony and give some words of encouragement, because you've been in the game for a minute with living with this disease, and I'll never forget when you were first diagnosed when I was like 12. So I definitely want to share your story with everyone. and go from there. So tell them when you were diagnosed and how you were diagnosed.
I was diagnosed when I was 15. I was actually auditioning for the dance that I was but so when I was auditioning, I was like, Mom, I don't feel good. She was like, just like maybe it's like a summer flu. So I lived first. So this don't feel right, this more than a summer flu. So that's when she started taking me to over 8 different doctors. They all said mono. I was like mono. But I lupus mimics also mono too. So they finally diagnosed me on August 25th, no 23rd, 2000. I was 15. Then I got out on my 16th birthday.
Okay, I have to. Whoa. Okay, so I was diagnosed in August too.
Really?
Yeah, Caleb's birthday was the 8th. I think we found out that I had lupus like a little bit after that because I missed his like was it his 5th birthday? I think I can't remember. But yeah. So I don't know. That's trippy.
Okay.
That's super crazy. Now I remember when you had first got sick, you had like the inflammation like in your eyes and then like your stomach. Was that like a certain type of lupus or were they trying to figure out because I can't remember. It was so long ago.
My pancreas were inflamed, so that's what caused my stomach to swell. And then with my eyes, I don't know what that one, but then my eyes ended up swelling to where I was going to being blind. So I'm still blind in my left eye. I have a percentage of I'm blind in my left eye because it never healed. Then when this all happened in 2016, it made it even worse. So I mean, I could see, sure, I could see, but it's still have issues, you know.
And knowing you, like I remember you were in choir. We did dance. We skated. We did so much, and I know a lot of things changed. Now, for me, when you got sick, I was like, okay, can we go skate? Is she gonna be okay? Because I didn't understand, of course, at the time. I was so naive and retarded. So I was like, well, are we gonna go skating? Are we gonna go to a concert? Like, what's going on? It's the fun over. Like, we had so much fun as kids. So I'm like, that was a big change of events and turn of events for both of us because it changed a lot for you. And I'm like, hey, like we used to, what happened? So knowing that you had to go through this transition as a teenager, how did that feel for you? Like things are not the same. How did you adapt, or how did it make you feel when you first learned you were diagnosed?
I was angry. I was like, I waited all my life for my teenage years. I thought I was grown, which I wasn't. But I planned stuff with my friends, about prom, and we planned stuff with the teenagers. And then when it all happened, I was like, no. I mean, I want my teenage years. So I was angry. But as I got older, I started to accept it and then help other girls.
So we're gonna talk about that because you hooked up our cousin with all the prom dresses, and I thought that was so amazing. Like, so your organization, it stemmed from the fact that you were anticipating your teenage years or to be in high school and stuff, and then you didn't get to go to prom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the organization to be able to help young girls go to prom, get prom dresses, and that was so dope. So, what was that? A few weeks ago, one of our cousins needed a prom dress, and how many did you give her?
I think about 10 of them. She got a lot of them. I didn't even count. I was like, you know
She
what?
only needed one.
Yeah. I said, back
I
up.
love it. I love it. That is so crazy. So now, wait, you had Kaden way after. How was your process with that? Because I know they say for us, like the chances of us having a baby or even a healthy baby is slim when you have the disease. Now tell them about Kaden because that boy is something else.
He was born, they said premature. He ain't born premature. But afterwards, I had an infection in my
Mm.
breast area. Um, but then after, he started growing, and to the point where I think it was 7 weeks. He was already 10 pounds. So they thought I was overfeeding. I was like, nah, dog. He takes after my dad, and so see him now. He's huge.
Yeah, he looks like
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have too much complication except, the weight gain and, the infection. But overall, I mean, everybody's different with their pregnancy. I mean, doctors tell you to just try to scare you with some things, but, God knows.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you had a healthy baby. Like,
Very
like
healthy.
they can't really say. That's why I'm like, with lupus, they say so many things. And I was like, you kind of have to go with God with it because they're practicing and we're still trying to figure it out too, living
Yeah.
with this disease. Yeah. So you had some heart issues. What year was that?
2016.
2016. And tell the story about, because I know you had to have, was it a monitor or something? I can't remember, girl. It's been so long. But
Heart.
tell them the story, what happened with your heart.
Well, it all originated when I got into a car accident. It was July 31st in 2015. But I mean, it was a minor car accident. I just hit my head, but it did more damage than anything. But I didn't have symptoms until February of 2016. That's when I couldn't like lay down and go to sleep because my chest, I couldn't breathe. So I told my mom, I can't breathe properly without sitting up. So, she took me to the hospital. They didn't find anything. So I went back home and everything. This time, I looked down, my feet were swollen. I was like, something ain't right. And I kept
Right.
coughing and coughing. Like, I can't stop the coughing. At this point, I was coughing up blood. So that's when she took me in. Ended up finding out I had 2 blood clots in my lungs, which I still do right now. But that's when they ended up keeping me. And them keeping me, I slipped into a coma, which I don't know most of the parts of what happened because I was in a coma. But then when I came back home, they released me right a few days after I woke up from the coma. But I ended up passing out on my mom's couch, and so they called again. Sent me, uh, called the ambulance and sent me back. And this time they're gonna wheel me to the morgue. I woke up and everything. So I was back in a coma. They actually induced me into a coma and sent me home again. I,
They should not have released you.
yeah, slipped into a coma again. And this time I was coughing up blood. I had heart problems. I was diagnosed over 100. Like when I count on the papers, over 100 different illnesses. I was diagnosed over. I was paralyzed. I was 100. I was 99 pounds. I was on chemotherapy, on dialysis when I woke up off from the coma. And so,
I did not. Okay, 100.
no, I was 99 pounds when I first was in the coma. The doctors didn't know they signed a DNR without my parents' permission, without dad's permission or anything. So when they're about to pull the plug, that's when dad walked in
Oh
and
gosh.
shook them. You know how he gets. When dad gets down,
You
he's
don't.
gonna get
Yeah,
up.
you don't play.
So yeah, so he shook the guy up, and to the point where the doctor ended up quitting right there on the spot because they're not supposed to sign a DNR without contacting the parents. So that coma, the third coma, I woke up. I was still, unable to walk or anything. I was paralyzed, waist from the waist down. I was in the hospital for 6 months. And so they kept coming in every single day, telling me, "Oh, you're gonna die this day. You're gonna die that way." I got to the point like, "Look, you're gonna die right now if you don't leave me alone." Because I'm sorry if trigger warning, but you'll leave it alone today. Because so I got to the point where I told her, "Don't come back."
Yeah,
And then,
just stop because like that. Oh God.
they're
Okay,
supposed to be like a
so
therapist, but they're actually telling you you're gonna die. So I was like, you can't tell somebody you're gonna die. They're trying to speak, wisdom to them. It ain't gonna work. So the whole chaplain came in. I told him get out. So trying to send me the Lord's prayer. I said, look, I know, get out, and we ain't got it. So, yeah,
y'all doing too much because my God did not say all of that. Y'all need
yeah.
to
I was like,
go. Oh my gosh. See, wow. I can't even. And then you had the heart issue, but did you have a pacemaker or something in your chest?
I did until Dad took it out.
Dad
He's
took
like,
it out.
I'm like, Dad, I'm cold blue, and so he took it out, and basically what the doctor didn't do, he made him do. Like I woke up, he was behind a nurse counter. I'm like, doing, bro. He looked up the records. So he was a doctor basically. He, whatever they needed, I needed stuff. He made sure I got. So
Yeah. Well, that's what he did at when I from San Antonio. They told me they sent me home. Then when they took me to Pomona, well, Dad threw me in the back of his truck. You're going to the hospital. They had me in there for 5 days. When they said there's nothing, he walked to the office in the hospital, like where the rooms are. They have their little offices. He said, "You're gonna figure out what's wrong with my daughter, or it's gonna be some problems." And
yep.
next thing you know, there was a diagnosis.
Yeah, I mean, I had doctors running in there. I was like, dang. I was like, what'd you say? I mean, it don't matter what you said. Thank you, but shoot. And when I needed painkillers, he was, do I need to do it? I was like, nah. But he made sure I had it.
So, oh, I love you, boo. So what medications are you, or can you think off the top of your head, like by counting, how many medications do you have, and do you know all of them?
Reality, I'm not trying to promote telling you to stop taking medication. I stopped taking it, a bunch of them, and I only stick to 3. So, which has been going far, but other than that, no, 3 pills. But overall, I was taking 36 pills. So I was like, they're causing me more to be sick than it is helping me. If I take all the medication in one day, I'm going to be in the bed all day, and I can't, take care of Kata. So I said, look, I told straight up, look, I'm just going to smoke my weed. I'm sorry, trigger warning, smoke my weed, and, take my 3 pills. And so my doctor, he knows I'm ghetto, and he knows, that.
But speaking of those natural healing remedies, that's why I was talking about this book before you had got on, because before I had even started engaging in medical marijuana, I was interested in this book, because truthfully, now I'm gonna tell you, Dad is the first one who took me to a dispensary and said,
yep.
"You need this because you acting up." And I was so scared. Like, that's why I was like, "Does Tiffany do it?" Just, and I'm like, "Something gonna happen." He's like, "Just relax." And it's changed my life since then.
I was like, I can't go to family like this, passing the blunt. Like, dang, okay.
I let my doctors know that now.
Oh, no,
Like, I
my
don't
doctor
hide
knows.
it.
I even showed him my rolling trail. I ain't playing. I don't smoke my tree. We won't smoke today. If you want to hear it, call me.
You don't know this. And I told them, they're like, "Do you need?" I said, "No, I'm good." "Oh, do you?" I said, I use this for sleep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any more pills.
Yeah. No.
So I, not ashamed. It's definitely aids in helping me sleep and helping me feel better and helping me feel good, because of course, as you know, with this disease, you go through all kinds of emotions, cognitive issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting stuff. My friend just called me. "Do you know?" I said, "Girl, I don't even remember. That happened, I don't know how long, but your memory, just everything,
Yeah.
it goes left, you know?" And so, how was your cognitive in the beginning? Because I know how mine was. It was terrible. When you first got diagnosed, how were you remembering things, or how were you like connecting the dots on certain things? How was that process for you, especially like coming into the healing part? Because now you're better, of course.
Well, first I just started writing things down, like everyone, like stuff that I did remember. I just wrote them down, and later on go back, and I was like, oh, and start to remember. But mostly just writing. I love writing, so that's it. I mostly did in hospitals, right?
Yeah.
Write letters to the nurse, so call a couple of names, but they look.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, I remember, because I was trying to remember the when Dad said he was, oh gosh, he scared the crap out of us about you. And he's like, "I don't know if Tiff's gonna make it," and telling us all this stuff. But he said there was like, you had a monitor in your heart, and it was like a certain percentage.
Yeah, I was at 10% of my heart was beating, and so they kept saying, no, there's not much you could do. But one thing I heard Dad sing, and God has smiled on me. He sang it all the way till I woke up from the coma. To the point I was like, all right, chill. So, he sang me out the coma.
He's so
Touch
stupid.
his arm in my ear. Then you wake up with nurses in your face. It's like,
Right.
dang.
That's how I felt when I was like, "What are y'all doing?"
Yeah.
I swear. So it went from 10
200% now. Because
Good God.
I just started walking because I started, looking up different research and on how, healthy hearts and stuff. Just walking around the park, walking around Target, which is the worst thing to do if you're healing. Don't ever go to Target. Don't ever go to a department store if you're trying to heal because, baby, I found a bag that was 2016. I forgot I even bought. So, yeah, just stay in the store, leave your wallet in, in the car, home, whatever. But walking and listening to some uplifting music. I mean, don't be
Yeah.
listening to no shots to Mary J. Blige. Don't be listening to sad songs, because you're gonna be feeling sad. Raise your vibrations.
Yeah, raise your vibrations.
Yeah,
Exactly, because my first time I was doing the same thing. I was distraught. I was scared, and everything that had a D in it, like the letter D, I thought it meant die. So when they
yeah,
told me that I had to be on dialysis, I was like, does that mean I'm gonna die?
yeah. Because I was like on Instagram before when I was in the hospital. I was scrolling and I seen a little terror that said death. I was like, ah!
Yeah,
So
you
I
just
just,
freak out about it.
yeah. So I had to get off the phone, disconnect from things that brings down my vibration and just stick, happy.
For sure. That is so imperative. So, okay, so tell us about the organization, what it's called, and what you do for it, and how you help young girls.
It's called, I actually have two, Operation Hurt Prom Incorporation. That's basically for special needs. I used to host special needs proms, but since, the COVID stuff, I really haven't been able to. Then I
Right.
have dresses at Tiffany's for underprivileged teens, but it's also prom dresses, but it's also back to school
Oh,
supplies and
nice.
all that. Because,
That's really dope. So yeah,
yeah,
that was so cool to give Jordan the dresses and stuff because he needed them. And I was so happy. I was like, you were the first person to pop into my mind, but I wasn't sure if you were still doing it, but I took the
yeah,
chance
they're still there.
and it was. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, the dress is still there. I mean, shoot, I'm trying to get rid of them. I mean,
Well, what? Prom is over now, I think, right? So next year,
yeah.
you guys keep in mind if you guys have prom, whatever, holla at my sister because she gonna hook you up for sure.
No, I can't get you a Beyonce dress. So for the 10th time, stop asking me. All right.
Don't be stretching the request,
Yeah,
right?
call Beyonce if you want a dress, okay?
That is so funny. So I want to kind of reflect on our past as kids
Lord.
and just the amount of fun that we used to have and the changes that, had to occur and stuff because like I said, we were at every NSYNC concert, going to Vegas with our parents, had no business, but I mean,
Drinking,
we did our thing as kids, so it was a big drastic change.
drink, drinking Alizé. I can put it out there. 8 years
They
old,
don't need
popping
to be knowing
bottles.
all that. No,
Uh,
we had fun. We had a good time.
Blame
we
my
were we
parents. They
were
let
we were a
us.
little spoiled.
What? I mean, Brittany was 8 years old. Had a little pinky up, popping bottle. You little alcoholic. You going to jail?
No, ain't Gigi let us drink Corbel for the first time for New Year's, and we thought we was doing something at her old house.
She gave me a shot of vodka when I was 13. I said, I'm gonna tell
Oh
my
my!
mama. I am gonna tell, and I fell too. I fell down her damn stairs. She ain't did shit to help me. I said, I'm gonna tell my mama. She gonna come out and beat your ass. The first time I was ever drunk.
Oh my gosh! I really can't say. I can say I kind of believe that because
I did. I was
Gigi,
walking
she's
down the stairs
very classy, but she slippy something one or two if you want.
because she always waxed her floor and this shit was slippery. So you just my drink, all that shit.
Oh goodness gracious, you are too much. Yeah, we have fun as kids. So,
Uh-huh.
when you got diagnosed, like I said, it was different for me because I did not understand. I always thought like kind of like older people got diseases, so I didn't understand what was going on. I was so young. Then as time progressed, you don't understand the disease because it's a mystery disease for real. And because
Uh-huh.
I did not have it, I did not understand you know? So now that when I got diagnosed, and of course my diagnosis was different, I went through more mental phases, more darker moments in that time where I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was drugged or something. And I understand that lupus can both be like hereditary and drug induced. So I was not sure how it happened,
Yeah.
you know. And so now I'm like, okay, now I have lupus when we found out. And I couldn't really compare and contrast us because I was so young understanding what you went through. But now I understand the disease. I have more compassion and understanding,
I think all of it, I mean, all you guys are, we brothers and sisters. So when you see your sibling in a situation, like, you can't really do much. So you don't know how to, accept it, because they're once a pain in the ass, and now, they're laying up in bed, in the hospital bed. So it's like, yeah, I understood, because, everybody took it hard. Even my mom, she talked to me, she busted out crying. I was like, girl, what's wrong with you? Then she told me, she couldn't accept that I was diagnosed because they said I was ghetto. I was, doing stuff I ain't supposed to be doing. And next thing you know, I've hooked up to stuff. So it was like, yeah. So, and plus, you were
it's
young.
a big change. It's a big change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like when I had to shave my hair off. Somebody called me. When I had to shave my hair off, or it all started falling out, and when the lesions showed up on my face, and I started to lose weight, and I was seeing things, hallucinating, I thought it was over. I was like, this is crazy. So, I don't know, everybody goes through something different, but that was my journey in the beginning. And I was like, I wonder if my sister went through this. So I tried to find support groups. Did you immediately go for support groups, or did you just like stay back?
I did, till like they start getting on my nerves. I mean, they just depressing. Like, I mean, I understand you're lupus, but girl, smoke a blunt. I mean, you taking it too far. I mean, you're planning your own, predicting your own death. Don't do that. I mean, don't. Doctors say you're gonna die, girl. You really.
You are so bad.
Yeah. So I left the support girls. I mean, they try to add me, nah, girl, no, kill yourself. So I don't do support groups, but I just, every single about 5 a.m. I go outside and I do affirmations.
You started to get really like one with yourself and like connect vertically with God, because you have to.
Yeah, listen to the birds. First I hated birds. I was like, that's God's creation. Let me go outside to talk about, listen, smoke.
You start to appreciate. That's one thing that I for sure, like, as you know, we were kids. We got to do a lot as kids, and now we begin to appreciate. So it's like, oh shoot, it changes you big time. Hold on, she paused, y'all. Oh. Hold on, I gotta re-invite her. It was getting so good.
Sorry,
okay. No.
It's the win.
Okay. No, it's all good. But yeah, it changes you a lot, a ton. So I get that for you. I commend you, sis, because you got it at a young age. And I think you really like triumphed, even though we were kind of separated for a while. I commend you. And when I first found out that I had it, I was scared, and I did get become a part of some support groups only on Facebook, because I was like, I don't want to get too deep in.
Yeah, carry drama too. I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, hell, god damn.
Yeah, and it's almost like some of them don't have the same faith, so it's a little different. And they say certain things like it's the end, and I'm like, no, like it's not. Like, so it's hard to be in a support group where there's not a lot of spiritual connect. So I kind of stay away from it, and I just kind of connect with God, and people that know me, because it's difficult out there.
Yeah, some comparing themselves to me, like, see, but you're like, girl, I took 10 Tylenols and some Vicodin. I'm in pain, okay? Like, I don't like when people compare themselves to other people, because, like, they may have an illness, but you don't know their fight. You don't know if they're the night before it was worse had a bad night, or the morning they couldn't get out of bed. Never compare yourself to other people. It's just, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Yeah. Well, and see, for me, it was, I just had to ask, like, if I seen something I've never seen on my body, I'm like, is this normal? They're like, oh, yeah. So that really helped me. But that also realized they also need more
Yeah.
spiritual connects because they're so invested in trying to figure out, they're in this group probably all day. So I was like, oh man, like that's when I started to try to encourage more and like, find out what's wrong and find out if it's relatable, if someone can relate to you so you can heal, because that helped
Yeah.
me stand up and say, okay, I'm not going crazy. I already am crazy, but like I'm not going super crazy, and that helps me sleep better at night. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't invest my time to the point where I'm always in there and down Debbie Downer and oh this is
Yeah.
that. And I even tell people, like one of my nurses, she's like, oh it must suck. I said not really, because this is a testimony. I can't look at this as it sucks. I look at it
Yeah.
as thank God, because it's changing me, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so November crazy for
Oh, damn Scorpio shit. Y'all be tearing up my nerves sometimes. I love y'all.
we, some of us we can be good people, no, but hey
Scorpio and
Virgos,
Leo.
hey now, hey
Them,
now.
them shit and Leos too. Shit. Say nothing to them. Nothing to them. If Caden's one, like, dog, never mind.
Right, Caleb. Like, what is wrong with y'all?
You
That's
got
amazing.
Virgos.
So, if you can encourage some of the young women out there or young men that have lupus or may be afraid, I've known some people, they come to me like, oh, my wrist or oh, this, and I want to get tested. And I tell them, get tested or get tested and get a second opinion, because they will
Mm-hmm.
not see it and you might have it or you might not, but just get tested.
Yeah.
So I always try to encourage that. What is some things that you would like to encourage some women out there?
Like you said, get tested, but number one thing I don't like when people call themselves a burden. I said because everybody needs help. You're
Yeah.
not a burden. Those people who tell you that you're a burden are also a burden on you because they're filling you with, the wisdom that you're not getting. I mean, not the wisdom, but they're not giving you the wisdom that you're supposed to have. So when somebody tells you that, let them go because you're
Let
not a
them
burden.
go, right?
You're not a burden.
Every negative thing is zero tolerance when you have this disease. And it's like,
Yeah,
it should be like that for everybody. But the literally stressing out, worrying, you will flare.
yeah,
Like it's not a joke and it's serious. So, like I said, again, I commend you for trucking on the way that you have, being a mom and being my big sister
hey,
and having two organizations helping other people that need help, in other areas of their life. That is amazing. So I just really, really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate you for doing my last interview, sis, so much.
welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
You're so welcome. So tell them where they can find you as we conclude this interview. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them about your websites for your organizations or how they can reach that to support.
Right now, they can find me in traffic because I ain't doing no organizations right now. It's too high. I mean, it's prom is closed. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, you can find me in traffic. That's about close you get, unless you got my number. But I will open or I'll try in September because I do want to have a back to school bash. So I will get starting Instagram or get back on social media to promote it and stuff.
Okay. And let me know, and I'll let my team know how we can support you with that too, because we have all kind of things that we want to support. I'm trying to do more support with social responsibility organizations, especially lupus. So definitely keep me in the loop with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, sister, for coming on with me. My last episode, I had to have you. I'm like, it's gonna be one day. Last season, I don't know, it was a lot going on, but I'm happy we got to do it this time.
Totally.
And follow her, keep up with her, support her organizations, and that's it. I thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Peace.